Who would have thought a football legend like Alan Shearer would stash his money offshore and get caught up in tax fraud? The Paradise Papers leak blew the lid off his secret, exposing everything he tried to hide. In 2017, his reputation took a hit when his name appeared in the Paradise Papers, a massive leak of financial documents exposing how the rich and powerful use offshore tax havens to avoid paying taxes. While he didn't break any laws, his involvement in the scheme left a bad taste in some people's mouths. After all, a working-class hero dodging taxes. It didn't sit right with everyone. For some, though, this kind of controversy wasn't all that surprising. Shearer was a fierce competitor on the pitch, known for his physical, aggressive style of play. He wasn't afraid to throw his weight around, and sometimes that led to trouble. One of the most infamous incidents came in 1998 when he appeared to stamp on Neil Lennon during a match against Leicester City. The clash sparked a huge debate about whether Shearer's aggressive nature had gone too far. Was he just a passionate player doing whatever it took to win, or did he cross the line? That wasn't the only time Shearer found himself in hot water. That same year, in a match against Liverpool, he was accused of deliberately elbowing Steve McManaman. He got away with it during the game, but the footage told a different story. Fans and pundits were outraged, with many arguing that he had been given special treatment because of his status in English football. Moments like these made people wonder, was Shearer just a tough competitor, or was he sometimes a bit too ruthless? After retiring, Shearer took on a short-lived managerial role at Newcastle United, the club closest to his heart. But his time in charge didn't go as planned, and after he left, he didn't hold back his opinions. He openly criticised the club's ownership and management, which didn't sit well with everyone. Some fans felt he was right to speak out, while others saw it as disloyalty to the team he once captained. Now, despite his troubles, his career was actually very successful. After 2 years in Southampton's youth system, he got promoted to the first team and made his debut in March 1988. Just 2 weeks later, in his first full start, he made headlines by scoring a hat-trick against Arsenal, becoming the youngest player to do so in the top division at 17 years old. That season, he finished with 3 goals in 5 games and earned his first pro contract. Despite the explosive start, Shearer gradually worked into the team, struggling to find the net the following season, but his strength and ability to hold up play made him a key part of the attack alongside Rod Wallace and Matt Le Tissier. By 1991, he had won over Southampton fans, who voted him Player of the Year. That same year, Shearer shined for England's U21 team, scoring 7 goals in the Toulon tournament. His 13-goal season for Southampton earned him an England call-up, where he scored on his debut. Big clubs like Manchester United and Liverpool came calling, but he stayed put until 1992, when Blackburn Rovers made him the most expensive player in British football, signing him for £3.6 million. After 4 years with Southampton, 158 games and 43 goals, Shearer was off to bigger things. Shearer made an instant impact at Blackburn, scoring twice on his Premier League debut. However, his first season was cut short by a serious knee injury, though he still managed 16 goals in 21 games. By the 1993-94 season, he was fully fit and firing again, netting 31 goals to help Blackburn finish second in the league. England, on the other hand, failed to qualify for the 1994 World Cup, but Shearer's reputation as a lethal finisher was growing. The following season, he hit new heights, forming a deadly strike partnership with Chris Sutton, famously known as SAS. Shearer's 34 goals led Blackburn to their first league title in 81 years, snatching the crown from Manchester United on the final day. Shearer continued his goal-scoring dominance the next season, bagging 31 goals, but Blackburn couldn't defend their title. He also scored his 100th Premier League goal in 1995, becoming the first player to reach that milestone. With 112 Premier League goals and 130 in all competitions for Blackburn, his time at the club was legendary. However, by 1996, a bigger move was on the horizon. Following an impressive Euro '96 campaign where he finished as the tournament's top scorer, Shearer had offers from Manchester United and Real Madrid. But he chose to join his boyhood club, Newcastle United, for a world record £15 million fee. He wasted no time proving his worth, finishing as the Premier League's top scorer for the 3rd straight season with 25 goals, even winning another PFA Player of the Year award. Injuries slowed him down in the 1997-98 season, and Newcastle struggled, finishing 13th. However, he helped them reach the FA Cup final, though they lost to Arsenal. In the following seasons, Newcastle continued to fight for silverware, and Shearer, despite occasional injuries, remained the club's leader and main goal threat. One of his standout performances came in 1999 when he scored 5 goals in an 8-0 win against Sheffield Wednesday. By 2002, under Sir Bobby Robson, Shearer helped Newcastle qualify for the Champions League. He was instrumental in their European campaign, scoring a hat-trick against Bayer Leverkusen and putting in dominant performances against teams like Juventus. As he aged, injuries became more frequent, but Shearer kept breaking records. He became Newcastle's all-time leading scorer in 2006, surpassing the legendary Jackie Milburn with his 201st goal. His final season saw him score his 206th goal for the club in a 4-1 win against Sunderland before a knee injury forced him into early retirement. Shearer's retirement was nothing short of epic. To honour his incredible 10-year run at Newcastle United, the club went all out. They put up a massive banner on the Gallowgate end of St James's Park, 82 feet high and 105 feet wide. It showed Shearer in his signature celebration, one arm raised high, with the words, "Thanks for 10 great years." And where did they place it? Right above Shearer's Bar, the club's tribute pub, named after him in 2005. The banner dominated the stadium skyline from April 19th to May 11th, 2006, leading up to his farewell match. That farewell, though, was something special. Newcastle arranged a testimonial match against Celtic with every penny going to charity. The stadium was packed, no empty seats, just pure love for their number 9. But there was one problem: Shearer wasn't fully fit. A knee injury against Sunderland had ended his season early. Still, this was his night and there was no way he was missing out. He kicked off the match, taking in the electric atmosphere. Then late in the game, Newcastle won a penalty. The crowd erupted, chanting his name. Shearer couldn't resist. He stepped onto the pitch, took the ball, and did what he did best: smashed it home. The roar from the stands was deafening. Newcastle won 3-2, but the score didn't matter. This was about giving Shearer the send-off he deserved. As the final whistle blew, he took a lap of honour with his family, waving to the adoring crowd. After retiring from playing, Alan Shearer wasn't quite ready to leave football behind. Initially, he had planned to take some time off to enjoy life, stepping away from the pressure of football. He even turned down a coaching role with England in 2006, saying he needed a break and wanted to focus on his BBC work. But even though he wasn't actively seeking a new role, he kept being linked with management jobs, particularly at his former clubs. In 2009, Shearer took a brief stint in the dugout for his last 3 games under manager Glenn Roeder. He'd turned down assistant roles at Newcastle under both Kevin Keegan and Joe Kinnear earlier that year. But on April 1, 2009, a big surprise came. Shearer was appointed as Newcastle's manager for the remaining 8 games of the season, after Chris Hughton temporarily took charge when Joe Kinnear needed heart surgery. Shearer said he couldn't watch the club struggle and would do everything he could to keep them from being relegated. At his press conference the following day, Shearer explained that he wouldn't have taken on the job for any other club, but Newcastle was different. He also mentioned that after the season, Joe Kinnear would return to his role. Shearer was given a short break from his BBC work, and he brought in Ian Dowie as his assistant and Paul Ferris to oversee the medical side of things. His first match in charge wasn't ideal. Newcastle lost 2-0 to Chelsea, but things started to improve, with a 1-1 draw against Stoke City, followed by a 3-1 win over Middlesbrough that lifted the team out of the relegation zone. Despite some positive moments, the final stretch of the season didn't go as planned. On the last day, Newcastle faced the threat of relegation and, after a 1-0 loss to Aston Villa, they were officially sent down to the Championship. In the end, Shearer's time as manager was short-lived. He only managed to pick up 5 points from a possible 24, and the permanent job went to Chris Hughton, who successfully led Newcastle back into the Premier League the next season. Even today, Alan Shearer is still celebrated as one of the greatest players in football history. Known for being one of the best strikers to ever play the game, Shearer left a huge mark on both the Premier League and Newcastle United. His strength, powerful shot, and ability to score goals from almost any situation made him a constant threat in front of goal. He was often seen as the archetypal English centre-forward, strong, great in the air, and clinical with his finishing. Out of his 206 goals for Newcastle, 49 were scored with his head, showcasing just how dominant he was in aerial duels. In his earlier years, especially at Southampton, Shearer was more involved in creating opportunities for his teammates. He had a great work ethic and an ability to make intelligent runs into space. His link-up play was impressive, and he often dropped deeper to help build attacks. As he got older, his pace began to fade, and he took on a more traditional striker role. Still, he was excellent at holding the ball up, acting as a target man, and bringing others into play. While his style of play earned him admiration, it also attracted some criticism, especially for his physical approach. Some said his game was too aggressive, and he was even sent off twice for using his elbows. One of those red cards was later overturned, but it didn't stop people from criticizing his physicality on the pitch. Shearer wasn't just a goalscorer, though. He was a leader too. As captain of Newcastle and former captain of England, his leadership on and off the field was crucial. He was known for his calm under pressure and his ability to inspire those around him. In addition to his on-field talents, Shearer was an excellent penalty taker. He scored 45 penalties for Newcastle, making him the most prolific penalty scorer in Premier League history, with 56 goals from 67 attempts. He also netted 5 goals from free kicks, showcasing his powerful shot from outside the box. Shearer's contributions to Newcastle and football were recognised in many ways. In December 2000, he was awarded the Honorary Freedom of the City of Newcastle, a prestigious honour recognising his impact on the city. A year later, he was appointed Officer of the Order of the British Empire for his charitable work in the northeast of England. Then, in 2016, he was made Commander of the Order of the British Empire for the same reason. Shearer's impact wasn't limited to football. In 2006, Northumbria University awarded him an honorary doctorate for his career and resilience in overcoming injuries. 3 years later, he was named Deputy Lieutenant of Northumberland, a role that saw him representing the Queen at official events in the region. On top of that, Shearer was made a Doctor of Civil Law by Newcastle University in December 2009, with the university praising his hard work, discipline, and the positive influence he had on the city and the community. In 2016, a statue of Shearer was unveiled outside St James's Park to celebrate his legacy. Sculpted by Tom Maley, the statue was a gift from the Shepherd family. It was the perfect tribute to a player who became a true icon in Newcastle. Finally, in 2021, Shearer was inducted into the Premier League Hall of Fame as its very first member, cementing his place as one of the league's all-time greats. From his incredible career on the pitch to his leadership and charitable work off it, Shearer's legacy continues to inspire generations of football fans. That wraps up today's video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching.